Welcome to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, a homeschool mom, entrepreneur, and educator with over 20 years of experience in the areas of elementary and special education. It's my mission to help you create lifelong learners and embrace a holistic approach to education at home. I'll be sharing practical strategies, inspiration, and resources to support your family. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a business owner, or balancing work and homeschool, you're in the right place to connect with a community that values education just as much as you do. Join us each week as we ditch the stress, embrace the joy of learning, and set your family up for a lifetime of success. Hi, friend. Welcome back to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I'm your host, Christine Furman, the home education expert. Today, we are going to be diving into how our health and our hormones change throughout our life. So this past year, actually last year in 2024, I turned 40 and I really started to see a difference in my health, in my body. And today I'm going to share some of those tips and tricks that I've seen along the way, some things that I've learned from health professionals. Now, I am definitely not a health professional, so this is just my own personal experience that I'm going to be sharing with you today. But I will have a health professional on next week, so stay tuned for that. But I just want to come on here and share some of my own personal experiences because I know for me, it came as kind of a shock. And I know people always say, well, once you turn 40, things change. And I know that's true, but I was trying to avoid it, of course. So that's what we're going to dive into today. We're just going to talk about how our health and our hormones kind of change. And I've actually recently heard every 10 years, so every decade, you're going to be experiencing health changes. Your hormones are changing. And once you think about it, it's like, oh my goodness, that makes a lot of sense. So we have our puberty years, as your teenage, and then you get into your 20s, and then you get into your 30s, probably a lot of childbearing time in there. And then you get into your 40s, and now we're in perimenopause or getting close to starting our menopause. And then you have 50s, and we're not there yet. So we're only at that 40 mark. But I also have a 10-year-old daughter, and I can definitely see how our hormones are syncing up. I always hear that. And if you did not check out my episode where I talked all about cycle syncing from a couple books that I listened to, definitely check that out. I'll link that episode in the show notes here below because that has really been helpful for me and also been helpful for my daughter as well. For me, being able to give her good sound advice and say to her, like, listen, I know that sometimes you don't know what's wrong. And sometimes our emotions just get the best of us and we just feel a certain way. And what do we do with that? So being able to take a moment and just relate with her and just say, hey, I know, I understand, and I'm here for you. Because that's my number one thing is I want my daughter to know, and my son, of course, too, but especially my daughter, as we get into these puberty years, I want her to know that I'm the person that she can go to. That if she has any questions, I want her to come to me. And I want to have that communication wide open so we can talk about everything. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive into that today. But I would love to know, how has your health changed over the years? Whether it's been during pregnancy, after pregnancy, postpartum, whether you are entering your 40s, whether you're in your 50s. I know that we have a community of primarily women, primarily moms that are of all ages. And I love that so much. So thank you for being a part of our community. And I would just love you to take one step further and join the Home Education with Ease Facebook group and share, how has your health changed? What are some things that you noticed that you're like, man, I used to be able to eat a certain way. I used to be able to exercise a certain way. I used to be able to do what? Whatever that may be for you. And now I'm noticing that that is not the case. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So be sure to share that in the Home Education with Ease Facebook group. I always love hearing from you, and I love building this connection and community so much more and so much deeper. So reach out and let's chat. Well, let's dive into this. So today, I just want to talk about some of the things that I noticed with my own health, my own body. And I had to kind of take a step back and say, whoa, what do I need to do differently? Because to be honest, I kept seeing the scale increase. And yeah, a couple pounds here and there, after an extended period of time. But then I started to see an increase more rapidly. And I was like, whoa, 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 something is going on. And if you do know, maybe you don't know, but I travel a lot. So we live in Augusta, Georgia, but we are from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we just moved down here to Georgia about 5 years ago. And we travel to Pittsburgh all the time. So my schedule often gets disrupted. And I've had to figure out, what does that look like? Because it's very easy to go home and connect with a ton of friends, go to a lot of events, and have a lot of that treat eating, right? So, oh yeah, let's go grab a coffee. Let's go out for drinks. Let's go have some ice cream. I started realizing that those treats were catching up to me, and I had to stop. So, here are a few things that I started noticing. So, I have been working out pretty consistently, not a 3 to 5 day week every week. That is not consistent for me. I would like it to be, but I know that there are time periods when there are times that I don't work out. And I don't love that, but it's been my reality. When I get too busy or overwhelmed, I just don't work out. And I notice, though, that it makes it worse, right? It makes that overwhelm worse. If I were just to take those 30 to 40 minutes to work out, it could shorten that overwhelm time. But when I'm in those moments, I don't think about it. I just think about, if I waste 30 minutes on my workout, waste in quotation marks there, right? I could use that 30 minutes for something else. Here's my little secret. Guess what? That something else doesn't always happen. I was actually just talking to my husband about this recently, and I said, when I get into this like overwhelm state, I don't want to do anything. Have you ever felt that way? Like, have you ever felt where it's like, not even that I can't breathe, but I just feel a lot of things happening at one time. There's always all kind of plates in the air, juggling all the things. We're moms. A lot of times that happens. I'm a homeschool mom. I'm a business owner. We travel, and that happens a lot. And I'm really trying to decrease that overwhelm feeling with a lot of these tactics that I'm going to share with you today, because I started noticing that when I would get to that point, I basically would shut down. And we looked it up, and I think it was like overwork paralysis. There's actually a term for this, whenever you feel overwhelmed and you just can't do anything. And I was like, that's me. That's totally me. So one of the strategies, and I'll just share this with you, because what I was realizing was, when I would get into those states, I would avoid tasks thinking that I was going to have more time for other things. And then it turns out I kept procrastinating and procrastinating and procrastinating, and nothing got done. And I felt like the entire day was not productive. So here are some of the things that I learned about that, which then this also will help with health, because this will lower stress, which is important too for our health. We don't want our stress to be high, because that increases our cortisol in our body, which is our stress hormone. And that then could lead to excess weight gain. It could lead to the overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety, the procrastination. That's what happens to me. And so it said breaking tasks into smaller chunks. Time blocking is definitely something I need to really, really dial in. I say it often, but I really need to, in this season, make sure that happens. And what is time blocking? Time blocking is looking at your schedule and saying, okay, this chunk of time I am committing to my work. Well, what am I actually doing in that chunk of time? And breaking that down and marking that down. That is definitely something that I need to do better. So, here are some learning things that I'm still working on, some struggles as a busy homeschool mom and a business owner. There are definitely things that I still, battle with back and forth. Yeah, there are great seasons, and then there are seasons of overwhelm. And what do we do? So, what I've realized is not working out is not good. So I have followed Lindsay Bryn, I think is her name, and Moms into Fitness is what it is. So if you are looking for an easy workout that is great for moms, busy moms on top of that, Moms into Fitness is totally my go-to. And this is not any kind of a plug. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I hope that one day I can have her on the show because she really has changed my workout life and has made it so incredibly easy. I found her when I was postpartum with Ella, and I was able to do her. It was a DVD at the time. It wasn't even online. I found a DVD, I used it, and I stuck to it. I also reduced or eliminated sugar and salt at that time. And I started reading labels because that's something else that we need to look at as well. What are we putting in our body? And how is that affecting us? Because here's the underlying thing. If we don't feel good as moms, if our bodies are not functioning at optimal function, optimal whatever power, right? How are we going to take care of all the things of our kids, of our husband, of ourselves? So that was something that was like, I'm done. I am so done. Not that I was putting my health last, because I was always working out. I was doing Tai Bo when I was in college. I was always going to Zumba classes. Like that is my kind of a workout. I love that kind of like fast paced movement, kickboxing, Zumba, all of those fun things. I was consistently doing those things. And I feel like I still and always struggled with my weight. And I was like, why? What is it that I need to be changing? And like I said, every decade, we need to look at our health and we need to adapt it and change it for where we're at in our life. And that's what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at it and saying, well, one, here's something I need. And Moms into Fitness, they have programs that are totally set up for so many things. And it makes it very easy, but also quick, right? And able to fit into our schedule. So there are programs and there's like a daily schedule. That's what I follow right now, where it's like there's a 20-minute, there's a 30-minute, or maybe 20 and 30 or 40, somewhere in there. So there's two different, like there's an express and there's the other, normal workout. And then you can customize it. Do you want to do 3 days a week? Do you want to work out 4 days a week? Do you want to work out 5 days a week? And here's the thing that I've been realizing and learning is that now in my 40s, I need to be doing strength training and steps. So a lot of that high intensity cardio, like those Zumba classes and that kickboxing, are not necessarily good for my body. And this is just me personally. Again, this is my own personal experience. This is not professional advice, but this is what I have noticed in my life. So by doing strength training and getting 10,000 steps in a day, and now I also saw it could be 5 to 10,000, right? Depending on, what you have available in your schedule and what does that look like. But it's very important to walk because I noticed for myself personally, when I was teaching, I was on my feet all day long. I didn't sit down. I loved getting up and interacting with my students and moving around. And I was throughout the entire classroom. And I love just moving, and I did move a lot. And I also worked out in the morning when I worked. So I would get up at 5, I would get a workout in, get my shower, and then get ready for teaching and would work all day. And I needed that because I notice when I don't get my personal workout in, I don't have the energy, the clarity, the capacity, patience, all of those things are so important with those workouts. So sometimes when we're like, I don't have time for that, really, it's like we need to make that time because it helps us be more productive in our day instead of taking time away from the tasks that we think it is. And I know I'm totally guilty of that. So that's definitely something that I've noticed is I need to focus on my strength training. And my goal is 3 times a week. If I could do more than that, great. But they even have like the 5 days a week, there's even a cardio day and there's like a Pilates day. So it's really 3 times a week of strength training and then getting outside and walking consistently, where I know that I sit a lot more now. I sit because I have my own 2 children. So yeah, we get up and we move around a little bit, but it's nothing like me walking around in a classroom. I sit at my computer now recording videos or editing or creating curriculum or all of the other tasks, social media or emails, all of those things are now at my computer. So I'm spending a lot more time sitting, which I do have a standing desk. And not that I realized this, but I was like, I think I work better standing. So this week coming up, I'm going to practice standing a whole lot more instead of sitting. Because I also notice when I sit, I just get more comfortable, more relaxed. And maybe I don't stay on task as well as if I'm standing. So, something that I've been talking to my chiropractor about, and even in the Moms into Fitness workouts, after 60 minutes of sitting and working, you should be standing. You should be moving your body a little bit. And I even heard, doing some body squats. So I even have kettlebells in my workroom. So then that way I could get up and I could do some kettlebell squats or, lifting it up and doing some arm workouts while I'm, in between my long periods of work. And to be honest, I'm not that great at making sure to fit it in because a lot of times I sit and I say, I just have to get these tasks done. But I'm excited to see this next season of my life where I prioritize those breaks because I really think that those little breaks, even if it's 30 seconds to 60 seconds of a get up, move your body, take some deep breaths, it's going to make a big difference because it's helping get that movement and that oxygen to your body, to your brain, to all of it. And I'm excited for that energy because that's something that has definitely decreased. I used to be a stay up late, get up early, and I'm good to go all day. I'd never drank coffee before. Now I drink everyday dose mushroom coffee. And if you were interested in that and would love to try it out, please reach out. I can even put a link here in the show notes below. But you can always DM me any of your questions because I started it because I was taking a different supplement that I realized the ingredients in that supplement were not as clean as I thought they were. So I found Everyday Dose, and it has less caffeine, which is easier on my body because that caffeine intake, that is stressing our body out too. So by switching to a mushroom coffee and matcha, that's what I drink now, the caffeine intake is much lower, but it still helps me focus. And that's what I need it for. I have undiagnosed ADHD because I am the shiny object syndrome girl, where I'm like, oh, there's a new idea. Oh, let's look over here. Oh, I need to do this and this. And those are my real struggles for sure. So I have noticed that even by drinking the Everyday Dose, it has helped me to kind of calm myself down and really allow me to focus. and stay focused on tasks. So I think with all of these things, strength training, walking, my everyday dose, my lower caffeine intake, my deep breathing, my breaks, all of these things are really going to help make my productivity so much better. And there's a few more tips too that I do. So, one thing that I also do is lemon water in the morning, and that is good for cleansing your body when you wake up. So, I squeeze a half lemon or a whole lemon into water, and I drink that while I'm reading my morning devotions, while I'm working out, while I work. I try to get an hour of work in the morning. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes I fall asleep on the couch, which is not great. I really wake up early so I can get a jump start on the day. Sometimes that doesn't happen. But I really do enjoy that. I enjoy drinking my water and really jump starting my day. And then get my workout in with my strength training. And then when it gets light enough, I get my walk in and I go for a walk without anyone. So I go without the dogs, I go without the kids, and I'm able then to get all my steps in without any distractions or interruptions, right? Because the dogs want to sniff everything. The kids are fine, but I can't really take the kids and not take the dogs. So I normally just get up and go, and I do a big long walk in our neighborhood, and I love it. And I will either listen to a podcast, I'll catch up on my messages. Sometimes I don't do anything. Sometimes I just soak in nature and just listen to the birds chirp and feel the warmth of the sun on my face. And it's just so, so refreshing. So I love getting that walk in. And then when I get back, the kids and the dogs are eagerly waiting for me to pick them up so we can all go for a walk and we all go for our walks together. And, then I start my day and I need to incorporate those breaks into my day, whether it's deep breathing and it's allowing my body to kind of get that oxygen back because sitting for extended period of time is not good. And I've heard that they've said that having a sedentary lifestyle is worse than smoking for your body. And that's crazy. So that was just something I had heard. Don't quote me on that, but I was like, that makes a lot of sense. When our body is not in motion, we are just letting it rest all the time. So this is my encouragement to you, my encouragement to myself. Even if you have to leave yourself sticky notes on your computer, set reminders on your phone or your watch, and just say every 60 minutes, get up and move. Move your body, whether it's going outside for a few minutes and soaking in some fresh air, or taking a phone call on a walk with you, or even just in your room, getting up and stretching and breathing. Maybe doing some squats, some push-ups, whatever it is to kind of get your body moving again. So those are some of the main things that I'm doing. The other thing is just being active with my family. So even just today, we went and we played pickleball together. It's the second time that we played pickleball and we love it. We don't know what we're doing. We have no clue. So we have the gist of it. We don't follow the rules at all. So we have to learn the rules before we actually go play with someone else. But with just the four of us, we just have a great time. And it's an hour of movement with the kids. And that's what I want them to see. I want them to see that in the morning, I'm working out. I'm moving my body. I'm going for a walk. I'm taking them for a walk. I want them to see that movement. And I want them to build that into their life. I want them to realize that our family outings can be to the tennis court, can be a bike ride, can be pickleball, that movement, that fun. And it was such good quality family time. We just had a blast. So think about that. There are indoor and outdoor pickleball courts. It's a lot of fun. And it's low key for sure. It's definitely not as intense as tennis, which I love now that I'm 40, but it was really a lot of fun. Something else I just thought of I wanted to share with you is weighted vests. That's something else that I have seen a lot of people talking about. And I do that 2 times a week now on my walks. So I just purchased a weight vest on Amazon. And if you're interested, I can share links with you. But then that has helped also just added weight, and that's good for your body too. So here's another thing. All right, here's a few things food wise. One, I cut out sugar again. And as soon as I cut out sugar, I notice a decrease in my weight. And sugar, carbs, processed foods. I mean, those are the three main things. And I just said to my husband, it's so simple, it's actually hard. Because in our society, how often do we celebrate birthdays? How often do we say, hey, let's go get some food? And do we always want a salad or chicken or, we want some good food sometimes. And a lot of that food, depending on where you go, it's hard to find good restaurants that have good food. I do have some recommendations here in Augusta, Georgia. I have some in Pittsburgh. So if you're ever looking for some recommendations, let me know. But it is hard. A lot of times the food's fried. A lot of times, you're not getting fresh food. It's full of salt. So sugar, oh yeah, let's get a dessert. And the dessert is as big as your head. So that was something else I started realizing as I was listening to podcasts was about insulin resistance. And that could not show up on blood work for years. You could be struggling with that and not even know it because your blood work comes back okay. It's normal. It's fine. But you could be struggling. So really start thinking about these things. This is something I've done is I do a food log. Again, not very consistent with it, but I have one and I then am more conscious of what I'm eating. So especially when I say, nope, you know what? I'm not doing sugar. It's tricky at first. And then it gets easier. And it's like, nope, you know what? I'm not going to have that. Thank you, but no thank you. And it's okay to say no thank you because you have your own health goals. No one else has your health goals. No one else knows what your family is doing with their food goals. Maybe you don't want your kids to have sugar or food coloring or added additives or preservatives, right? All of these things, that's your family's goal, and that's okay. And we should do a whole episode on food coloring, food dye, and all of that, because I think that's another important episode to talk about too. So maybe we'll do that for our kids and their behavior and things like that I've definitely seen myself. But these are some of the things to kind of keep in mind. Insulin resistance. Do you need to cut out sugar? Do you need to limit salt? Do you need to increase your protein? That's the other thing that I've realized by listening to a lot of professionals, and it's increase your protein. That's going to help you during this season as well. And what I just saw today was your animal protein is better than protein powder, which definitely makes sense. So really thinking about that protein that you're going to be getting from chicken, from beef, from turkey, from eggs. There's all kind of things like that. So think about how you can incorporate protein into your diet and make sure that you're getting enough of that. So these were just some of my tips and tricks. And why is this so important to me right now? Because I'm always learning. I just did a gut health class with a friend of mine. Hopefully she'll be the guest that's next week. And she's fabulous. And I learned so much from her. And I just keep absorbing all of this information. Moms Into Fitness, she has a podcast on insulin resistance, on hormones, on protein. And I just soak all of that information in and I just start utilizing it and seeing how it fits in my life. And I think that's so important because our bodies are constantly changing. And how can we be the best version of ourselves? And that's what it's so important to me. How can I be the best version of myself so I can be the best version for my kids, my husband, my friends, my family, all of the families that I get to impact with my programs and my live events? And even you, how can I be the best that I can be so I have enough energy and I have enough capacity to share all of the information that I learn daily with you. So I hope this was helpful for you. I, again, would love to know, one, how your body has changed, and maybe what are some of those health goals for yourself. Again, not a health professional, but I do know how important it is. So then that way we can be the best for ourselves and for our family, because it really starts there. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this today. If you are looking for any kind of educational programs, I definitely would love to chat with you further. There's going to be a link in the show notes that you can fill out the form and tell me what you're looking for. Are you looking for community? I have the Home Education Collective, a membership for families to come together, ask your questions, be able to get some ideas for your kids, and just have that support of a community. Are you looking for specific programs? I have a reading fundamentals program that is really big in the summertime because our kids need extra support in their reading development. So if your kids are struggling with reading, or if you want them to start reading, the Reading Fundamentals program is the perfect program to check out. So you guys, again, fill out that form and we can figure out what your family needs and how I can best fit your family's needs. A few other things that we have the summer EduPlay Learning Activity Kit, and that is full of activities and ideas and crafts and songs and recipes, math activities, reading activities to keep your kids' skills sharp over the summer. And they're all fun. Like, we talk about turtles and we talk about frogs and ice cream and watermelon. So it's just always a good time. That's perfect for ages 2 to 5. And I have other programs and I have collections for everything. So if you are looking for something specific, if your kids love turtles, you can just learn about turtles. So again, fill that form out in the show notes below. Reach out to me. You can fill that out, or you can message me on Instagram and Facebook. All of those links are in the show notes below as well. And we can get connected and I can help walk alongside you and your family on your educational journey. Well, have a great day, everyone. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in to the Home Education with Ease podcast. I hope today's episode left you feeling empowered and ready to take the next steps on your home education journey. Your support means the world to me. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share with a friend. For even more resources, be sure to join the free Facebook group, Home Education with Ease, and visit eduplaylearning.com to explore our programs and subscription kits. You can find the links and any other links mentioned in this episode in the show notes below. Remember, you're not alone. This community is here to support you every step of the way.